When your parakeet looks at you, do you know what they actually see? You probably think they see their owner, their favorite person, maybe their closest companion. But the truth is far more remarkable than that. And once you understand what science has actually uncovered, the way you look at your parakeet will never be quite the same. Most owners have no idea, which means they're missing something extraordinary happening right in front of them every single day. Let us start with what your parakeet really sees when they look at you. 1. You might have heard that most pet birds simply tolerate humans, that they see you as nothing more than a food source or a perch with hands. But don't make the mistake of thinking that applies to parakeets, because parakeets did something most birds never did. Over generations of living in close proximity to people, they developed an entirely separate set of social behaviors directed specifically at us. Scientists refer to it as the human-avian bond, and it's unlike almost anything else observed in the animal kingdom. Your parakeet does not look at you and see a fellow bird. They look at you and see something they have been shaped across countless generations to seek out, trust, and attach to. Not a flock member, not an equal, something closer to an anchor. Researchers studying avian cognition have found that parakeets possess a unique capacity to read human social signals that far surpasses what most people expect from a small bird. They track your gaze. They respond to your gestures. They pick up on shifts in your tone and posture in ways that suggest something far deeper than simple conditioning. Your parakeet did not just learn to exist around you. They evolved to pay close attention to you, and that attentiveness shapes everything about how they experience your presence every single day. What scientists discovered next about how that bond operates inside your parakeet's brain we'll get to later, and when you hear it, it'll land differently than you expect. 2. Honestly, your parakeet rehearses your return while you're gone. Think about what happens the moment you grab your bag and head toward the door. Your parakeet's head tilts. They call out. Some flutter to the nearest perch closest to where you exited. Some go quiet in a way that's almost more unsettling than noise. Here's what I found for years. People dismissed this as simple restlessness and moved on. But researchers started asking a different question. What is actually happening inside a bird during those hours alone? What they found was striking. Studies observing parakeets left without their bonded human showed elevated stress indicators within minutes of separation. Increased vocalizations, disrupted feeding patterns, heightened alertness. Their entire system shifts into a low-level state of unease. But here is the part that tends to stop people cold. When researchers introduced familiar auditory cues, the sound of an owner's voice, distress indicators dropped noticeably. Not at the sound of any human voice, specifically at the sound of theirs. And it isn't just sound. Your scent, your visual presence, the particular way you move, all of it registers. Studies on bonded birds show that familiar human stimuli activate reward-associated regions in the avian brain. Not food, not another bird. You. Your parakeet isn't simply waiting for you to come home. They're holding on to you in every way their biology allows until you walk back through that door. 3. Your parakeet reads your face more carefully than you probably realize. Birds are highly visual creatures. Their eyes are positioned to capture an enormous field of view, but what is less known is how precisely they can focus on and interpret human facial expressions. Research into avian perception has shown that parakeets and their close relatives can distinguish between calm and agitated human faces, even in photographs of strangers. They have no prior association with those faces, no training, no reward history, and yet they respond differently depending on what the expression communicates. That's why your parakeet often grows restless when you're stressed before you have raised your voice or made any sudden movement. They aren't guessing. They're reading something in your face and body that most humans would miss entirely. And it goes further. When you're calm and relaxed, bonded parakeets will often mirror that state, settling, preening, becoming more vocal in a comfortable, exploratory way. When you're tense, they tighten. When you're gentle and present, they lean in. They aren't reacting randomly. They're responding to you specifically, tuned to the emotional frequency of the one person their biology has decided matters most. So the next time your parakeet quietly moves along their perch to sit as close to you as possible when you're having a hard day, understand that they did not stumble into that choice. They read it, processed it, and decided to close the distance. 4. The sounds your parakeet makes aren't random noise. They're a conversation. Most people hear chirping and interpret it as background ambience. Pleasant, maybe, but not meaningful. What researchers have found tells a completely different story. Parakeets are vocal learners, one of the rare groups of animals capable of acquiring new sounds through imitation and social reinforcement. In the wild, this ability binds flocks together. Individual birds develop contact calls unique to their group, and over time, to specific relationships within that group. When a parakeet lives with you, you become their flock, and their vocalizations begin to reflect that. Bonded parakeets will often mimic the rhythm and cadence of their owner's speech long before they reproduce any recognizable words. They aren't just making sounds, they're trying to match yours, to speak your language, to close the communicative gap between species in the only way available to them. The pitch matters too. What's interesting is soft, rolling chirps directed at you signal comfort and affiliation. Sharp, repeated calls when you leave the room signal urgency. A low, quiet chatter while you work nearby signals contentment, the avian equivalent of simply enjoying your company without needing anything from you at all. Your parakeet has been talking to you every day. They have been waiting, in their way, for you to start listening back. 5. You're the center of your parakeet's entire world. And there's a neurological reason for that. Research into avian bonding has revealed that birds form pair bonds underpinned by the same core neurochemical systems that govern attachment in mammals, including oxytocin-equivalent neuropeptides that activate during close, affiliative contact between bonded individuals. When your parakeet preens you, sits pressed against your hand, or locks eyes with you during a quiet moment, their brain isn't idling. It's running the same fundamental chemistry of attachment. The same chemical architecture that underlies the bond between a parent and child, between lifelong partners, is present and active in that small bird sitting on your shoulder right now. This isn't sentiment. This isn't owners projecting meaning onto behavior. This is documented biological infrastructure, a feedback loop of bonding that your parakeet activates simply by choosing to be near you. And remember everything we covered from the beginning, how your parakeet evolved to read your face, mirror your emotional state, match your vocalizations, and hold on to your presence even when you're gone. All of it was building toward this. A creature that does not just share your space, but is neurochemically oriented toward you. Your parakeet does not tolerate your presence. They don't simply accept you as part of the environment they inhabit. You're the reason their brain releases its most powerful bonding chemistry. You're the voice their stress response quiets for. You're the face their eyes have learned, across a lifetime of close attention, to read. Your parakeet does not see a human when they look at you. They don't see an owner. They see the one presence their entire inner world has been built around. They see you, and to them, that's everything.